And we are live. I am just going to check my phone here and make sure. Hello, everyone. I bet you're all jumping. Okay, yes, I can see it. Oh, I might not have my volume down. I do. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year. Happy 2019. We are so happy to be back with you. It is our breastfeeding and sleeping Q&A, and I'm here with Rebecca Michi, and I'm Shari Criso, and this is our very first one of the year. Mm-hmm. Yay, yay, first one of the year, first of many probably for this year. So we hope we're all doing great. Let's see if everybody's going to be jumping on here. I don't see anybody. Oh, okay, I see one person jumping in. Let's make sure that we are actually live here and that everybody can see us. Interesting. Oh, okay. I think I got people jumping in. If you're in the stream, go ahead and give us some hearts and say hi. Do a little wave, do a little thumbs up. There they are. Okay, good. Little bit of a delay. Sometimes I'm not sure. You know, with technology, you just don't know. Is it actually coming through? And I have spent quite a bit of my life talking to myself, so I don't want to do that today. Oh, you know, sometimes there's good conversations and sometimes those are just not so good. So hi. Okay, I see you all now. Hello. Yes. All right, great. So welcome back to our breastfeeding and sleeping Q&A. So happy to have you joining us. I see all my favorite people jumping on. I don't know about you, Rebecca, but I love watching their names pop up. Even though we haven't met in person, there's people who I know have been following for a long time and it feels like old friends jumping in. And then there's like all these new people, you know, jumping in and from everywhere and from the Philippines. Fantastic. So it makes me really exciting to see how far and wide are we reaching. And I know I want to see where you're all from. Hello. Okay, great. So we haven't been on for a little while, and because we have so many new people, I'd like to just take a moment for us to be able to introduce ourselves and tell you our backgrounds a little so that we can get right into our Q&A. We have a lot of really great questions, a lot of really great content as always, and answers for you. So I'm going to start, Rebecca, and then I'll hand it over to you.
Yeah, perfect.
So again, I'm Shari Criso. For those of you who don't know me, I'm a registered nurse and a certified nurse midwife, and I'm also an international board certified lactation consultant. And I've been working with moms and babies for many decades, many decades now, and in just about every capacity. And I used to deliver babies. I used to work, I used to have a practice and work as a midwife. And then I became a lactation consultant. And I've been doing that now for over 12 years. And it's really my passion. And so I consider myself a midwife that specializes in breastfeeding. And so that's what I'm here to do for you today is really answer your questions and hopefully relieve some of your concerns and fears and worries around breastfeeding, which can, I know, sometimes be very stressful. Although it's joyful, it can also be very stressful. And so that's what we're here to do. And then I have my partner in crime here, Rebecca. Go ahead, Rebecca, introduce yourself.
Hey, my name's Rebecca Michi. I am a Seattle-based children's sleep consultant and author. I work with families who have children under 6 years old. So there's a real broad range of ages and issues that I work with. I'm a gentle, no-cry sleep consultant. I've been doing this for more than 2 decades and been working, you know, with families in so many different capacities. So we do this together. Shari and I do this together a couple of times a month. One, because we really like each other and we're really good friends. But another reason is because when you have a baby, you know, sleep and breastfeeding are kind of two of the main issues. There's poop as well. That's a lot of that going on, but we don't get a poop specialist in because that would be a bit weird. So we just talk about breastfeeding and sleep because those are the things that you're really going to have issues with. And so that's why we're here. A lot of what we're doing is kind of dispelling myths. Myth busting is a lot of what we're doing, but giving you that reassurance so that you are able to then reach your breastfeeding and sleep goals with having kind of realistic expectations. So we are here to answer all of your questions that you get. Shari did put some posts out earlier in the week asking for your questions. We have compiled those and we are going to be going through and trying to answer as many as we humanly possibly can. Shari said to me just before we sort of went live, let's answer as many questions as we possibly can. Because you may not realize we can kind of talk. And so sometimes we can kind of go on and on and on. But we're going to try and condense things a little bit for you today and answer as many questions as humanly possible.
Absolutely. And before we get to the questions, which I promise you we will, I want to thank our amazing partners. As always, they're here in the chat, and it is Love to Dream and Even Flow Feeding. And I am so excited. These are two of my favorite brands because they make just the best products. I've been working with both of them for many, many years. And those are our prizes today. So thank you, Love to Dream, and thank you, Even Flow Feeding. And we're going to give out some great prizes. So before we get started, this is how you win. If you've never been with us before, you are going to type the word baby right now in the chat. Okay, so just comment, just like you're doing right now, just comment and type the word baby. When you type baby, you will receive a little message from me, and that will give you an entry right into the giveaway. Okay, so you're going to type the word baby. The other way you need to enter is you need to like or love this post. And then you need to comment here at some point during our live stream and tell us what you love about either one of the brands or the products. If you don't know, just tell us why you'd love to try them. But you need to comment. We are giving our prizes to people who are present here during the live. So we need to know that you are here and that you are that you want it. Okay, so go ahead and do that. All right, so let's get started. First of all, you know what? I know I said I was going to answer a question, but I want to share something. I want to share something really cool. Okay. So it won't take long. Okay. But I had the privilege earlier this month to fly down to Charlotte, North Carolina to do a photo shoot, a 2-day photo shoot with some of the most amazing moms and babies in our community ever. Okay. Like we did all kinds of filming and photographs, and I was just in heaven, of course, because all I did was hold babies. I literally felt like I was on cloud 9. Sometimes that gets a little, I miss that now. I miss that sometimes. So I had such a great time. If any of you guys are here who joined me for the photo shoot, first of all, I just want to say thank you so much for such an amazing couple days and for all the contribution that you made to all the new programs that I'm filming and to the new website, membership site that we're going to use all of these programs and these photos and videos for. And I do have a little video montage that I want to play. Okay, to just show you just some of the highlights of my trip. Do you guys want to see it? If you do, let's get some hearts going across the screen. I'm going to pop up that video. If you want to see it, let me see some hearts, and I'll go ahead and play it for you. It's really, really cute. And if you want to jump into the live, which I see Allison just jumped in here. So if you want to jump in and ask your question live, you can go ahead and do that as well. And just hold on, and I'll get to you as soon as we can. Okay, so just sit right there in the green room. Okay, they want to see the video. I think they want to see the video.
I want to see the video.
Let me go ahead and play that. There you go. Oh my goodness. It was so nice to see it again myself, just to remind myself of how awesome the whole thing was. It was a really, really fun time. And you guys are going to get to see. Are we having trouble with our video? It looks a little fuzzy. I hope that
Yeah, a little fuzzy.
Yeah, something's going on. Hopefully that's going to get better. Let's see. I'm going to, what's going on with the internet? All right. Hopefully it's okay.
Who knows?
Can you guys see us okay? And can you hear us? As long as you can hear us, that's going to be okay. We're about to start talking a lot. So hopefully the video will catch up with us. And as long as you can see it, as long as you can hear it, I'll be happy. All right, fantastic, good. So go ahead and type the word baby and make sure that you love this post and comment here, which you're all doing right now. I see it's blurry, but you can hear. No idea. You know, this is technology for you. I tried.
Yeah.
Let's see.
You know, Shari is on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast. So the fact that we're actually able to speak to you potentially in your living room, when you think about it, it's pretty impressive. If we're a little blurry, it's just covering wrinkles.
We did that. That's like the opposite of HD, right? Like that. It's just our solution to HD.
It's cheaper than plastic surgery.
You know what? It's the filter. It's the like subtle filter.
The not so subtle filter.
All right, good. Let's start, Rebecca. Now I promised I will get to the questions.
Great. Shall I start with a breastfeeding question for you?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, great. So great question came in from Samantha. Is there a way to help baby latch better right after a lip and tongue tie procedure? Or do I just have to wait for her to relearn how to use her lips and tongue? This is a great question.
Yeah. It's a really great question. You know, so often we answer these questions about lip and tongue ties as part of the diagnosis and looking at like what are some signs that the baby may need to have a release or that the baby may have a tie. But this is really, you know, what happens after, because I think so many parents or moms think that once the tie is released, then there's no problems at all. And then they're disappointed to find out that it's not completely fixed. So a couple of things I want to say here is one, why this is the reason why it is so important to not just go see a pediatric dentist or the surgeon and have the release done without working with an IBCLC through the entire process. Okay. It's really important that the latch is being addressed. All the other issues that may be related to that tie are being addressed as a holistic approach. And you need that lactation consultant to kind of manage the whole thing for you. The release is one piece of it. The baby may need body work beforehand. The baby may need body work after. There's definitely going to be exercises and stretches that you need to do with the baby. And remember that if it took a few weeks to have that release done, the babies learn to latch a certain way that may not get completely corrected just because you have the release. The baby may be able to move their tongue and their lip better, but they got used to sucking a certain way, and that needs to be addressed at the same time. A couple of things I can think of as well is to make sure that you're doing those stretches, but also consider the fact that the baby may need some pain relief after the procedure. Quite often, you know, it's not a terribly painful procedure, but it still leaves an open wound. And so, you know, sometimes they're just in pain and it can make it difficult for them to latch as well. And I don't think that's being addressed fully all the time. So I think that's an important one to consider. And just, you know, making sure that your latch and your positioning is being done right. You may have been compensating. The baby may have been compensating. You know, the baby may have a tight, you know, a torticollis. It may not be remember that the frenulum is just one part of the problem. The tongue, the muscles, all the structures in the neck, in the back, they're all connected. And so, like I was saying before, body work, chiropractor, craniosacral therapy, something to help release and relax all those muscles and ligaments that go into the latch as well. All right. So this is all a bigger picture. And sometimes it's just not addressed by the surgeon. All right. If anybody wants a really good referral of who to go to and go online and learn from, it's Lisa Palladino, and you can look her up. Well, I'll give you a link later for her. I do have it. I think it's just lisapalladino.com, but she's wonderful, a wonderful CNM, a midwife, and an IBCLC. We have the same credentials. She's a good friend of mine. She's been here with me several times before, and she's just a specialist in this. And she has an online course as well about tongue ties, lip ties, from the lactation consulting side of it. So I would really recommend that.
Great. Super helpful.
Yeah, definitely. It's so many people have the same issue.
Yeah.
You know, and it's luckily it's becoming more and more talked about, and we've done a lot of discussion on tongue and lip ties over the past 2 years, a lot. So I have that all available for you too.
Yeah, because when you think about it, if you've been doing something a certain way for your entire life, if that could be kind of 2 weeks or that could be 4 months, and then it changes. It's not something you get instantly. It takes a bit of time, and maybe having to relearn as well is going to be so. So will people be given exercises and things that they do need to do kind of when they leave after having the tongue lip tie relief?
Usually they will be given the exercises. It's not really it's stretches. So what's happening is that the wound can reattach. And so in order to keep the tongue mobile, to keep that from reattaching and having the same issue, you need to do those stretches, which are usually given at the time that the procedure is done. But that doesn't really address the latch.
No.
It doesn't really address the latch. So yeah, I think it's a bigger conversation. It's really not just, oh, go get it lasered or whatever, and we're done.
And then you're good. Yeah.
Rebecca, we have Ashley waiting in the wings here to ask a question, and you know how much I love to bring them on. So I'm going to bring Ashley on to ask her question, and then we'll move on to a sleep question, unless she has one. So let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, Ashley, here we go.
Oh, mine's a sleep question.
Okay. Hi, Ashley.
Hi.
See, now you're not blurry, and we are.
Oh, no. Nope, not blurry. Say hi.
Rebecca, I'm going to pull you out for a second and bring you back in and see if that helps.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, let's bring her back and see what happens here. Still blurry. It's just you and I. I'm telling you, it's our filter. It's the blurry filter. We meant to do this. We meant to do it. All right, good. All right, Ashley, go ahead. Ask your question.
Okay, I have a 6-month-old baby. Say hi, Jack. Say hi.
Hi, Jack.
And
cute.
I have been co-sleeping with him, but I'm trying to do the transition into the crib now because he's crawling, moving around, and I just want to make sure safest option is to put him in the crib because my husband doesn't want to lower the bed to the floor. He hates his crib. So I've been trying to, today we've been trying daily. It took about an hour for him to go to sleep today, which I had to move him to the bed, let him fall asleep in the bed, and then move him to the crib. I don't want to do a cry it out. What's the best solution? And he breastfeeds. So it's normally, he feeds, he gets real tired, and then he falls asleep. He wakes up so easily that it's just really hard to transition him. And
the whole transition's really tricky. Yeah. Okay, great question. And you are totally not the only person on the planet who is going through this exact same thing. It's really, really common. And in fact, this is one of the bundles that we have in Slumber Academy. And as you came on and you asked your question live, you're going to get some membership to Slumber Academy. So you're going to find some real extensive info there. But I will sort of give you a rundown of all that information that you're going to get there. So what, as you say, he has a negative association with the crib. Just that he's sort of, if he's in there, he's like, where the heck am I? So what you want to do is you want him to have a positive association with that crib. And right now that's going to come with play. So later on today, and you want to do this every single day, more than once a day, is to have some awake playtime in the crib. Just start really, really small. And so put some toys in there, stay there with him. It's light, he's not hungry, he's not overtired. Just maybe have a couple of minutes and then get him out when he's having the best time ever. Because then when he goes back in, he's going to be thinking, this is great, rather than, oh my God, where the hell am I going? This is the worst place ever. So you want him to have that real positive association. So start small with just a couple of minutes. And then over the next week or so, I would increase the time that he's in there with that playtime to the point where you get to where he's in there for about 20 minutes with you playing with him. You're able to kind of leave. You're able to come back. So once you get to that point, that is then when I would really kind of push more for sleeping in there. So you can continue to maybe do as you did. That's such a great start, helping him to sleep and then laying him down. Naps are always going to be tricky. So I'd actually have playtime in the crib every single day, and then just do naps kind of wherever. And then your nighttime, you could maybe go through your routine, get him down to sleep as you normally would, and then transition him. It's a little bit easier for nighttime, beginning of the night, because he'll get into a deeper sleep then than he would for the nap time. So maybe after he's been asleep for about 10 minutes, then you can sort of, get up, move to the crib, do the super slow, stealthy sort of maneuver to get him in there. That's when you're actually going to have more success than with a nap time. Then as he gets more used to sleeping in there, then he's going to be able to sleep there for longer. It's not going to be so. And remember, then he's waking up. He's not freaking out, where the hell am I? He's waking up and thinking, this is great. This is an awesome place. If he then even just sort of wakes up, he's quite happy to hang out awake for 10, 20 minutes and get himself back to sleep. That's not even classed as a wake up if you don't need to help. So that's what comes with that playtime and that positive association that he has. So playtime in the crib. Start with the beginning of the night. You can always sort of, after you first wake up, after your second wake up, whatever you want to do, bring him in with you again. But just sort of practice is that is hours spent sleeping in the crib. The more hours you'll be able to spend sleeping in the crib.
Okay, perfect. We will do playtime in the crib.
Yeah, it's going to be so helpful. Don't underestimate the power of playtime in the crib.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
That's good. Awesome. Thank you, Ashley. Thanks for jumping in.
Thank you. Say bye.
Right. Bye, Jack.
So
Bye.
Oh my God, look at those cheeks. How cute.
Cheeks for days.
So cute. So cute. Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, that was great. That's a really, that's such a common question. And it's like, it seems like such a simple answer, like get them, make it a happy place, like something they're used to, Why would you want to go be somewhere that you've never been, especially when it's dark and it's night.
Exactly.
So
there's a lot of conflicting advice with that, though. A lot of times you'll read that they should only be in their room, in the bed for sleep, and that's it. You don't want them being in there for anything else. But if you're trying to get a child used to somewhere to sleep, if they're only ever in there for sleep, then they're not necessarily going to be comfortable with it if they've not slept there before. And so the way that children learn and get comfortable with things is through play.
Yeah. Well, I love to hang out in my bed, so.
Exactly.
We play in the bed, right? I don't know about you. We play in the bed, so.
My goodness, Shari.
Domino.
Oh, you're making this English woman blush.
You want to have a positive association with the bed, right? Okay, let's get back on topic here. Okay. First of all, who loves love to dream? Let's get some hearts. Who loves love to dream? Okay. Do you know what love to dream is? Let's pull up a picture of love to, because we talk about cute, all right? And playtime and sleeping and all those other things here. This is the love to dream, swaddle me. And it is swaddle up. Sorry, it's a swaddle up. And what it is, you're swaddling the baby with the swaddle, with the arms up, okay? And that's the difference and the big difference between this and so many of the other swaddles out there on the market or the big blankets. This is the original, okay? They're the original swaddle up, and they're the most amazing company. They make the most amazing products for babies. It is such a nice, comfortable, safe sleep sack for the baby. You could see it here. And they're in that natural position with their hands, which is not straight down at their sides. So many people talk about how their babies hate to be swaddled because they don't like to be tied down. Babies will naturally sleep with their arms up, and it'll give them the ability to bring their hands to their mouth, to self-soothe. And it's just a more natural position. Plus, it's a single layer. And when you have a single layer on the baby, you can avoid the overheating that takes place with regular blankets when you're wrapping them 5-6 times. Some of those big blankets, especially on a small baby, really can cause too many layers. And then you've got a SIDS risk with the overheating, or they untangle themselves and it comes up over their face. All right. So this is the Swaddle Up. And there are a few different versions, the winter ones, which would be great for right now. It's like 1 degree here in New Jersey. It's so cold. It's so cold. And then there's summer white light ones. And then there's also something called a 50-50, which I'm about to get to here, I think. Let's see. Got a lot of good pictures. Look at these awesome pictures. Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, there's the 50-50. Okay, so this is a 50-50, and this is the Swaddle Up that actually has the arm that zips off. So it's a transition swaddle. So as your baby starts to hit, 3-4 months old, they're starting to roll over, sometimes sooner. It's really more about the baby's developmental skills. When you see that they're starting to roll over, that's the perfect time for you to take the cue to switch them into the 50-50 so they can have their arms free. A good tip is to do this one arm at a time after they fall asleep. It helps them to adjust to the arms out versus the arms in. All right, that's a 50-50. And then there's the awesome, and you saw it, I think it was in the video. I'm not sure. We definitely had the Swaddle Up in the video, but there's also the footed sleep suits as well for older as they start to stand. So you've got these sleep suits as well, and they're so cute. There's some.
They are super cute.
Right? So who loves Love to Dream? Who has one? Do you have the Love to Dream? Yeah, exactly. You have the Love to Dream? If you do, I'd love to hear from you. And if you'd like to have one, you can also post here. Someone's going to win this Love to Dream today. So there's Love to Dream. Okay. All right, fantastic. And then we have even flow feeding too. Let's do that right now. Okay, and then we can do more questions. Even flow. All right, so for anybody who knows me, they know Even Flow, okay, because this is a product that I've been working with, the brand I've been working with for going on 7 years. I actually helped to design this pump, and it is the Even Flow Advanced Double Electric. And I did a whole show. I don't know if you caught it, Rebecca, back in December. I did a whole show on comfort pumping.
Yes. And,
it was just, it hit me one day that people just don't know what's most important in order to get their milk out. We did videos. I've done videos in the past talking about, my 3-stage pumping method, how to use the controls, which this pump has those independent speed and suction dials so you can get multiple letdowns of milk. But really, if we took one step further back, it was about how do we create comfort when pumping? Because people think that the pump needs to have the strongest strength. The suction needs to be really hard, which this pump does. And you never really want to turn it all the way up because the suction is really hard. But you don't really need that kind of suction in order to get milk out. What you need is to work with your body to get a milk release. And that's all about getting your oxytocin flowing. When your baby sucks, it sends a signal to your brain, oxytocin is released, and your milk lets down. And so the things that can prevent milk from letting down or from that oxytocin from releasing, 1 is pain. 2 is tension, all those things, even being cold, certain things will actually prevent you from letting down. And so when we designed the Even Flow Advanced, we designed it with comfort in mind. And that means that it comes with 3 flange sizes included in the packaging because the sizing has to fit or it's going to hurt and then you can't get your milk out, right? And we also did it with a soft silicone, very cushiony flange, okay? And you can see how rubbery and cushiony that silicone is. This is super comfortable. And when I was at the photo shoot earlier this month and I was pumping with some of the moms, which I'll be able to share those videos with you, it's really cool. This was the first time they had used this pump. They had other pumps that they had been using prior. But when they put it on and we started pumping together, they would say to me, I don't feel anything. Are you sure it's got suction? Like, I don't feel anything. And then they looked down and there was just milk pouring into the bottles, because the suction was pulling the nipple where it needed to be. But the comfort of the release and the comfort of the nice soft flange was actually compressing the ducts the way we needed it to get that milk to flow. And it was stimulating their letdown, and they weren't in pain. They were just hanging out. So it was really, really great. Patricia's saying the flanges are so comfortable. Yes, they're so comfortable. Here, I'm going to put Patricia's comment up. Did I delete Patricia's comment? No, I don't know how to do it. There it is. There it is. I'm trying the technology here. So she's saying the flanges are so comfortable. I agree. Okay. And then the last thing that I would just want to say about the comfort on this, that really it's this whole feature that we did was strictly for comfort, but mainly because comfort is the thing that's going to help you express milk. It has a sit back flange. And that means you can see that the angle is pretty steep here. It's most flanges are pretty much straight out, which means that when you put the pump on, you really have to lean forward so that the milk goes down into the bottle. It's not backflowing. It's not getting you all wet and breaking the seal. With the even flow pump, it really does have that angle that allows you to sit back and relax, breathe, right? And the milk will still flow down into the bottle. So it's like all those features together just make for the most comfortable expression. And the other thing that I noticed too, that, I don't think everybody always knows, is that the way that the pump cycles, it has to do with how harsh of a cycle it is. Like the smoother the cycle, and this pump has a really smooth type of cycle, really is different the way it drops off from the suction. So it doesn't feel as sharp, if that makes sense. It's a more smooth curve to the cycle, and that really makes a difference as well. A lot of thought went into this pump, I can tell you, because I sat through those meetings and had a lot to do with what they were doing, and the engineers are amazing. And honestly, if you try this, you're really going to see that there is a big difference between it. So just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. I loved the whole comfort pumping conversation, and I know you guys did too. Did it help you guys to hear that comfort pumping and understand what you were trying to accomplish? I think pumping's not as intuitive as what we think. It's not just turn it on, turn it all the way up. Which one sucks the hardest and feels the worst? Okay, that must be it. We wouldn't say that about the baby, right? We wouldn't be saying, if it hurts, oh, you got it right. We keep saying it shouldn't hurt. It should feel comfortable, right? All those things. So that's not different when it comes to the pump. So there you go. Yes, the sit back feature is a dream come true for C-section mama. All right, that one's going up here too. Look, there we go. Thank you, Victoria. Thank you. Yes, it really is great for C-section and anybody, because your back and your neck kill after leaning forward all that time, and that's the kind of thing you just don't know till you're actually pumping, right? Like, would you think first time mom's not going to be thinking like, okay, that's the feature I need, because it's not till after you're using one that you have to lean forward on and your back's killing you, that you think, oh, that would have been a good feature. So fantastic. Okay, and we're going to give away some prizes from Even Flow today too. So if you came in late and you don't know how to enter, you just type the word baby here in the comment. You'll get my little message. Like or love this post and comment here telling me what you love about Love to Dream or Even Flow, so that we can give you a prize. Okay, I'm ready for a question.
Okay. Shari has a great question. I'm a little confused as to why we're supposed to switch sides during a feed. Just curious. My son will never take the second side, but I've always been worried because you're supposed to, I have been told. But if they don't empty, then why do I switch during a feed?
Okay, good question. So what she's basically doing is saying that she feeds completely on one breast and then switches to the other breast for the next feeding. And she's being told that she has to use both sides per feeding. That's not exactly true. Okay, because you really don't need to use both sides per feeding. As long as each side is enough milk for that feeding and the baby's satisfied, which it sounds like from her question, the baby seems fine and is not hungry for the second side, which means that she's making a good amount of milk, and she is making enough on one side. Listen, if we needed to use both breasts for one feeding, then moms with twins would have an issue. When a mom's nursing twins, she uses one breast, right, for her baby usually. So you can make enough milk on one side. Here are some of the concerns that can happen with only feeding on one side. Maybe that's why she's getting this advice. You may be a little lopsided. Okay, your body's going to adjust to your milk demand. So, and the breasts are independent of that. That means that they get accustomed to how much you're draining out of that particular breast is how much that breast starts to make more of. So you may feel a little lopsided, which is okay. I mean, it's totally fine. And if it's easier to drain one side, the other side may stop producing as much in between feedings. Like say you're nursing, I'll give you an example. It's easier with real numbers. Say you're nursing every 2 hours. That means you're nursing on each side every 4 hours. Okay. It may be that the one breast is not filling as much by the 2 hour mark, but filling enough by the 4 hour mark. All right. So or it may be that they're filling at the same time, but you're just getting a lot more out. So now you've gotten really full. That's probably the only concern that I would have, is that if you're getting very full on one side, there's always a risk of plugged ducts, of mastitis, of your bra being too tight because the breast is expanding too much between feedings if you're going long stretches, which you would be if you're alternating sides. So you just want to be really careful about not ending up with a breast infection, which could be the possibility. Usually the concern is in the other direction when we switch sides too soon. And especially when you have a newborn baby and the breast is really full and you may be a little bit engorged, it can wind up where you're not getting to the fatty milk at the end by switching too quickly. And so the milk that first comes out, which they call the foremilk, can have a lot of watery milk. And by switching sides too soon, you may not be getting to the hind milk, which is that fatty milk that comes at the end of the feeding on each side. What I would say is this. One side is the appetizer or the dessert, and the other side is usually the meal. So you're usually sticking with one side longer, and then offer the second side. They usually don't nurse equally. Okay, so that's very common. You're going to usually nurse one whole side. If after you're done with that side, and how you know you're done is the baby's coming off, or you're not hearing as much swallowing, it's probably a good indication. If you're getting a lot of sucking and no swallowing, switch sides, give the baby the other side, let them finish. It's usually an unequal feeding, meaning you'll have longer feeding on the first side and a shorter feeding on the second. Keep track and start on that side that you ended with and just alternate that way. But if the baby doesn't want to go to the second side, perfectly fine. I'm not sure why they gave that advice, but it's perfectly fine.
Great. That's super helpful.
All right, you ready for a question?
Oh, I'm ready for a question.
Okay, let's go to a sleep question here. Should I do one of these ones at the end here?
Yeah, those were great. Actually, all of those were great questions that you had at the end there.
Let me go to the end here. Okay, so, and you know what, Patricia's on the live stream here, so I'm gonna ask Patricia's question. Patricia said, my daughter is 9 months old and is not yet sleeping through the night. One of my family members said it was my fault and she's still waking throughout the night because I'll nurse her back to sleep. Is this true? I'm pretty sure that it's not, because if she's eating, she must truly be hungry and not just looking for comfort. I also read that most babies actually don't sleep through the night until a year old. Is that true as well?
Okay, there's lots and lots here. So a 9-month-old who is waking to feed during the night is completely normal. There is nothing to say when children no longer need to feed during the night. There's nothing medical, there's nothing scientific, there's just nothing. It's just kind of presumed because some can, that all should be able to. And we know that that's totally not the case. There's so many different things that go into when a child no longer needs to feed during the night. How many feeds they're getting during the day, whether the parents are back at work. So many different things there that go into when a child does not need to feed during the night. So it is totally not your fault if your child is waking and they are feeding during the night. So just get that out of your head, because it is nothing that you have done. And yeah, so what happens is when children are much younger than the 9 months, we know that they are waking and they are hungry because that's just sort of what is governing wake ups. It's just that hunger. And then that can kind of continue to happen, is that, yes, because we then continue to feed, we're kind of getting that hunger. So no, I don't think that you are the cause of the child waking up during the night to feed. And it also would depend on how many times they were waking to feed during the night as well. So if they're waking every 45 minutes to feed, that's a little bit, that's just downright miserable if you've been doing that for 9 months. Totally. And there's things that you can do to be lengthening out the time in between feeds, but you may not be able to get your child sleeping through the night. If they're waking once or even twice a night to feed, and they go back down to sleep, that's actually within that realm of normal. That really, really is. So I wouldn't really say that there's a huge amount to necessarily change there, because your child may actually need to have that feed, not just as a way to get back to sleep, but they may need to have those calories at that time.
Absolutely. 9 months. I mean, that's totally normal to wake during the night to feed at 9 months. And, people have such opinions, like it's your fault. That just drove me crazy. Reading that, I'm like, it's your fault that she's waking up through the night. No, it's you being a good mama. Okay. It is you, but it's not your fault. It is you responding to your child's needs and to her needs for not only the food and the hydration, but also for the comfort and all that goes into this. There's so much more than just eating, and this idea that we're going to get them onto a schedule where they're going to eat on our schedule, on our time, on our desires, and yes, eventually we work towards that. But a 9-month-old baby is still a baby. And they're all different. And the good thing is that they know what they need. When we wonder, like, our babies don't come with instructions, and if each baby is different, how are we going to know what to do? Listen to the baby, okay? Because the baby really does know what they need, and especially a breastfed baby when they are, when we talk about nursing on demand, okay? I kind of don't like that term, because it's not that they're demanding anything. They're doing exactly what they're supposed to be doing, which is letting you know what you need to do in order to take care of their individual needs. And those individual needs change from hour to hour, from day to day, from month to month. Are they going through a growth spurt? Are they sick? Do they need to be hydrated more? Is it too hot out? Is it too cold out? I mean, all these things adjust with your breastfeeding and your breast milk. And the baby is just so built with this intelligence inside of them to know what to do. And so this is your guide, really. This is your guide. This is your way of being able to address those needs.
Totally. And what I often will say to families that I'm working with is that remember that breastfeeding is not just about food. So even if your child does need comfort during the night, don't you want to give them the comfort? Of course you want to do. You want to do that whether they are 9 months or they are 9 weeks or they are 9 years or they're 19 years old. You want your child, when they need comfort at any point, day or night, you want them to be able to come to you.
My 40-year-old texted me in the middle of the night last night.
I had my 15-year-old came. I had my 14-year-old came up once during the night. My 15-year-old came up once during the night last night because, for whatever reason, tummy ache, bad dream, whatever. And yeah, it's kind of miserable having to wake up during the night. That's why I'm drinking copious amounts of coffee today, because I really do need it, because I was up a lot during the night last night. But I want them to know that I'm going to be there for them during the night when they need something, whether that's, a tummy ache or a bad dream, or they're worrying about something that's whatever going on at school. Luckily, if they wake up hungry, they can take care of themselves now. Totally.
It does work like that. It really does. Totally. We have teenagers, so we'll tell you. Eventually, they do take care of them. And then you're like, oh, did you need anything from me?
Nothing.
Please, I don't need anything from you. But no, it really is true. They need us.
Mm-hmm.
They need us for a long time. And we'll be there to answer their needs. And that's what I believe helps to develop, secure children that turn into well-adjusted, secure adults.
Totally.
It's not that thought that they are not going to know how to take care of themselves. I think that they feel taken care of, and then they learn how to transfer what you've done with them, loving them, taking care of them. They transfer that to themselves to take care of themselves later, and they understand what it feels like to be loved.
Mm-hmm. But having said all of this, that does not mean that you have to enjoy and love every single night wake up at all. No, because they are downright miserable. It is completely horrible when you're being woken up multiple times a night. But, you know, and that may not sort of help you as you're there, sort of like it's 3 a.m. and you're like, oh, Shari says I should be enjoying this. I should be loving this, hating every second. Yeah, totally. You know, I was up last night with a 14-year-old, and then later I was up with a 15-year-old. I tell you, I was not loving that. I was really not loving that, especially when I'm sort of getting back to bed. It's 1 a.m. and I know that my alarm is going to be going off at 6 a.m. and I'm just like, 5 hours sleep. And I'm just, it's not fun.
Well,
but
you know, it's being a mom. You know, I had to go out 6 times to drive yesterday. You know, this one was late for school, missed the bus. This one needed to go drive to work. This one wanted to stay after school for a lacrosse meeting. Like, and you know, it's exhausting. You know, the responsibilities and how you're responding to their needs definitely changes. But that's what it is to be a mom. And you know what? I look at it now and I think, this is what it is that they'll feel taken care of and loved. Mm-hmm. And then this is what they'll do with their own children someday. Mm-hmm. No,
but it doesn't mean you have to love every second of it, especially when you're going out and it's like freaking freezing where you are.
You don't have to like it, but you know what? You will feel good about your decisions when you follow your own heart. And you will feel good about your decisions when you're coming from your own gut and your own instincts about what you feel is best about for your child versus what somebody's guilting you into doing one way or the other or making you feel bad about. And so it's really important to put that stuff aside. You're going to get a lot of bad information and advice when it comes to parenting. Everybody has an opinion, right? So, did you guys all enter to win the prizes? Make sure that you hit the word, you type the word baby, and are you all liking? Lots and lots of hearts here, lots of hearts. Like the post and comment. Tell me what you love about Love to Dream and Even Flow so that you can win the prize. And let's do some more questions. See, I told you, we're going to get through a lot of these questions.
I know, we're doing well. I'm going to do a breastfeeding. Actually, we had a couple that came in that were very, very similar. So let's sort of get through that because then that's answering multiple people's questions. So Nina and Rebecca had very similar questions. Do I need to pump when my 2-month-old starts to sleep at longer intervals at night to keep my supply up?
You know, it all depends on whether you need that extra milk. So let's put it this way, if you are going back to work and you anticipate that you'll be storing up some extra milk for the freezer, if you are going to need that extra stash or even just an emergency supply, which you don't need a lot. I just want to say that, like, you really don't need a lot of milk. You don't need a freezer full or anything like that. But if you wanted to store some, it's the perfect time to do that. If the baby starts to sleep longer stretches at night, you can pump a little and get that extra feeding in that that you're unable to do because the baby is most likely going to be eating a lot during the day, especially if they're sleeping longer stretches at night. But that being said, if you don't need the extra and you're already like on a good routine and you've got that extra stash and the baby's starting to sleep longer stretches, you don't have to get up and pump. You need to sleep. Okay. So your body will start to adjust to your baby's needs. It's exactly what we were just talking about of, some need to get up, some don't need to get up. And if the baby is actually sleeping, then probably that is the sign telling you that they don't really need it right now. If you get up and pump, you're going to continue to produce that milk. And then you're going to feel full, and then you're going to need to keep getting up to pump. So what I would say is that sometimes, because the middle of the night or that early morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning is the time of day when you may have the most amount of milk, it can get quite uncomfortable. The baby decided they were okay, but your breasts haven't caught up. They're usually a little bit behind, right? So you may start to feel very uncomfortable because you're so full. You might need to wean down where you get up, you pump a little, but you don't drain the breast, just enough to be comfortable. And for the first few days, you just, pump a little just to relieve the pressure, not be so full. and then wait till the morning to feed. And that could be the extra milk that you put into their, refrigerator and have for later. But start weaning down if you feel really full. Remember, like I said earlier, that fullness, that real big fullness, can really lead to problems like plug ducts, breast infections, mastitis, and especially when you're sleeping and you're sleeping on your side. So if that breast gets really full on the bottom side, so say you're sleeping on your left and it's your left breast, there can be a lot of pressure on that breast. So just be careful with that. That's probably my best advice. Other than that, enjoy, and don't get used to it. I mean, those are my two advice. Enjoy and don't get used to it, because as much as it may be like the beginning of like they're sleeping through the night, it may also be just a thing they're going through. And then a couple weeks later, they're waking up at night again and you're going, what happened? The baby just changes. So I always say that with babies, because you can't get used to it completely. Yeah,
totally. Yeah, we have these, especially if you're dealing with this sort of first couple of months, then there's that 4-month sleep regression. That one is going to potentially bite you on the bum. And so, so just honestly enjoy that sleep while you can, because it may completely change. It may not, and that's great if it doesn't, or, but it may completely change. And I think that's kind of when it's hard. If you sort of think, oh, great, we're sort of getting this sleep thing down, and then boom, it's suddenly very, very different. I think that's probably harder than when you have a newborn. When you have a newborn, you're expecting, I'm going to be tired, we're going to be up feeding, 24/7. And then you start getting some sleep and you think, made it. And then, that 4-month sleep regression comes and bites you on the bum, and that's tough.
Yeah, totally. Or they go through the growth spurt at that point and they're just hungrier. Yeah. And they're actually, the reason that they're coming back to the breast so frequently when they're hungry like that is because your breasts, again, have adjusted and need some catching up. And the very best way and only way to really do that is to allow the baby to feed more frequently, wake up at night, whatever they need to do to demand more from the breast, so that the breast gets the signal, I need to make more.
Exactly. Because the link, the telepathic link between baby and boob has not been established yet.
No, it's close. It's better.
It's near. In the meantime, they just need to latch on. That's the link.
It is a physical thing. It really is a physical thing and an emotional thing. But the emotion is triggered by the physical contact. And so there needs to be that. You can't just think about nursing. You actually have to do it. Okay, that is like a quote from Shari.
Don't just think about nursing. Just think about one thing during this live Q&A today, during this hour, is that you can't just think about nursing, you have to do it. I hope that's your takeaway today.
Uh-oh, I think we froze.
Oh, yeah. No, you're back.
We're good.
And on that bombshell.
I think I killed the internet with that comment. I think the internet, I think Facebook just went, okay, wait, hold on. What did you do?
Yeah, that was Facebook rolling its eyes.
Okay. Oh my God. All right. I missed you. I really miss you. I'm so happy.
Taking me on vacation with you.
On vacation, you're right. I really missed you. I forgot how much fun we have together doing this. It's just the best. It really is the best. I hope everybody's enjoying it as much as we are.
They're probably all just rolling their eyes as well.
They're all rolling.
Yeah, get on with it.
We have time for more. Okay.
Yeah, totally. We're doing great. Oh my gosh, we got like more than 3 questions today.
You gave me a challenge. That's why you gave me a challenge. All right, so let's go on to the next question. This one is a sleep question, Rebecca, and she's saying, Kelly. She's saying, my 8-month-old will only sleep next to me. How can I get her back in her own cot? And I'm not sure if this is the same answer as you gave to Ashley when we first came on, but
no.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to do the same because so a lot of so your baby will kind of sleep right next to you, and that really is because you are the most amazing person on the planet. One, you have boobs that probably are functioning and give you giving milk, but you are just totally amazing. You smell great, you look great, you're just the most amazing person on the planet. And why would your child not want to sleep right next to you? So that's why they're doing it. Now, if you would like them to be a little bit more independent, and there is totally nothing wrong with that whatsoever, what you can do is, if possible, get your child's sleep space, that crib, right next to your bed. So that may mean that you've got to have your bed, over a little bit so you can get that crib there, so that you can sort of have your child on the same kind of level as you, right next to you, but then they're in their crib. So they're going to still get that. They're able to look at you. They're able to smell you. They still have that real nice closeness. That's going to really help. Then the way that you can, if you want them to have a little bit more space, where you maybe move them to their own room or moving the cribs kind of across the room, you can do that really slowly by literally kind of moving the crib every couple of nights a little bit further away. Of course, still having that playtime in the crib. Everybody's child should have playtime in the crib, whether they're sleeping there, whether they're not sleeping there, whether you want them to sleep there at some point. Playtime in the crib is really, really useful, really helpful. A great thing. You want your child to be comfortable with that space, whether they're sleeping in it now or whether you want them to be sleeping in there in the future. They need to be comfortable with that space. So playtime in the crib is just sort of something that everybody should be doing. But I would do that. If they're used to being right next to you, try get them sort of sleeping a little bit more independently right next to you. That will be the best way to do it. Now, it gets a little tricky if they need to be touching you. And sometimes we'll find that babies really like to be kind of shoved into the armpit. Oftentimes I'll hear that from mamas, that babies sort of like will get right into that armpit. And that's not a comfortable way to sleep. You may be fine for kind of 10 minutes. You think, I can sleep like this. And then 10 minutes, you're just like, how long? How many hours am I going to be here? It doesn't get comfortable. But that being needing to be touching you and kind of being sort of snug in, it's just that was what it was like when they were in the womb. There was not a lot of space in there. And so it's just a real secure feeling for them. Swaddling can really, really help. Yep, you're not swaddling around their head, but it gives them that real snug, secure feel. So swaddling can actually really help. And then if you're trying to get sort of a younger child from maybe in bed with you, an infant from in bed with you to that more in the crib, definitely swaddle. Definitely swaddle. That will really, really help. Love to Dream, as we know, is a more natural position to be swaddled in, so it makes swaddling so much easier. One, to get into. We've seen how you pop that kiddo in there. Super easy to get them in, and it's a much more natural position. So kind of getting them as nice and snug as you possibly can, safely, and then in their own space.
I mean, the whole point is to have them confined, really. That it sounds like that's not what it sounds just counterintuitive to what we would possibly want. But like Rebecca just said, they're coming from inside the womb. And this is what is so great about a baby. Babies are predictable. Okay. I used to teach a whole class on babies, and the class was called Predict. And you guys are all going to see it again because I'm about to film the whole thing. So the predictability. Okay, you're not able to schedule them. They're all different. Things change. The whole idea of being able to put them on a schedule, I don't really believe in that so much. I don't think it really works with a baby. Mm-hmm. But I do think they're predictable, and they do all pretty much like the same thing, especially in the beginning. Okay, because they all came from the same place. Planet uterus, right? They all came from the same place, and it feels the same. I don't care whose uterus it is. It feels the same inside. It has the same characteristics, and it's what they're used to and what makes them feel comfortable. And that confinement, okay, that feeling of just feeling tight and feeling, bundled up and feeling close to you, and the warmth and your heartbeat. And all of it together is going to make them feel like they're back home. It's where they belong. And so, and when we talk about Love to Dream or Swaddle, really what it's about is confinement. So they can feel like they're pushing against something. All right. That's going to help them to feel more comfortable. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I see. Lisa Palladino's here, and she just quoted me. You can't just think about nursing. You actually have to do it. It's going on her Instagram. I miss you too.
Yeah, I want a pin with that on.
Okay, Lisa missed. I think Lisa missed the beginning of the program. I sent everybody to your website. I told them you are the guru lactation consultant, CNM, who knows everything about tongue and lip ties. This is the Lisa I was talking about earlier. Lisa, post your website here for everybody because they all want to know how to come get your course and to follow you. So yes, it's perfect because I was talking about Lisa earlier, and there she is quoting me on my quote. Oh God, I don't know if she might want that. Yeah, you can.
Now, can we have shirts with that quote on? I want a shirt with that on.
I think I should, right? You can't just think about it. I mean, wouldn't it be nice? I guess that would be a good thing for during the night. I'm just gonna think about it, right?
Yeah, dream about feeding your baby. They're boom, done.
There's Lisa's website from earlier. Thank you, sweetheart. I miss you too. Mwah. You're gonna come back. We need Lisa to come back for our Q&A soon. We need Lisa back here. We got a lot of questions about tongue and lip ties. Anyway, Rebecca, okay, you gave me a challenge here earlier. Like, let's get through these questions. We got through a lot of questions. We did a lot today.
I think that was potentially a record, the getting through that many questions.
You know what? Because we want to answer your questions. We want to make sure that we could. Oh, Victoria said she would totally wear that shirt. All right, I'm going to make them up. But we want to answer your questions. I hope that the information that we gave you today was informative. It supported you, that you had some fun, that you had some laughs, that it was a fun thing to watch. I definitely had fun. I had no fun at all. I can
see it was torture for you.
This was torture for me. This was torture for me. Really, this is the best thing I do all day. So I want to tell you, like, we are going to do more of this. If you're not part of my private Facebook group, the My Baby Experts community, make sure you go join. I've got some big stuff happening. We're about to launch, and I want you to be a part of everything we're going to be doing. The new website's coming out, all the content, and you can watch my class right now for free if you want to. You just, in that link, when you type the word baby, it should give you a link to my class. It's also going to give you a link to Rebecca's Slumber Academy. So make sure you click over there and go check out Rebecca's courses and her academy. It's amazing and wonderful. All I hear is, Rebecca, I hear such great stuff coming from everybody. They're just loving it so much, and it's helping them. Yeah. So make sure. You love the My Baby Experts group. Well, I love having you there. I'm just blown away. We just went over 4,000 members now, and they are just the best community. I mean, just so kind to each other and so helpful and so engaged. And you guys are just the best audience. And I just love to be a part of it with you, like just reading what you talk about and all of it. So it's fantastic. All right. So there was prizes. Yes, Kyrie, just type the word baby right here and you'll get a message from me. Follow the directions, comment here about what you like about Even Flow and Love to Dream. Make sure you like the post and you will be eligible to win. We will announce the winners. Okay. Rebecca, we went over, but as always, the best time ever. Love having you. Will you come back soon?
Of course I will.
Okay, good.
Of course I will.
Oh, good. This was a good way to kick off the year.
It was a great way. I mean, though it doesn't feel like we're kicking off the year. It feels like we're halfway through by now.
You know what? Don't even say it because it will be before you know it.
I know. I just struggle with January and February. It's just the gray weather.
I'm sorry, but it is like it was a wind chill of -18 here in New Jersey this week. So don't complain. If it's raining.
Oh, I'm not. Yeah. We've actually had record high temperatures in Seattle. I have probably worn a coat twice in the whole of January.
Oh gosh.
Seriously? Right. Just a sweater, I'm good. I mean, we're talking, it's in the 40s.
Yeah.
But it's not sort of, balmy 68 degrees or anything.
Poor Joe, my husband, was outside on Sunday chopping ice on the driveway for 5 hours straight. Because you couldn't even shovel it, you couldn't even blow it with the snowblower. It required chopping just to get it because he had to leave. And I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to get out of this driveway for this week. You don't chop it. So he was out there for hours. It was awful.
Oh my gosh. I'm sorry.
So, yeah. And I'm pretty cold. So I'm just kind of hibernating here in the house.
Yeah. Good idea. At
least I work
when you've got to do your 6 trips with the kids tomorrow or later on today.
Oh my God. No, this is when I really appreciate working from home.
Totally.
I don't have to get up and leave, except for
And you do realize we're still live.
Oh right. Hi everybody. No,
this is stuff that we normally talk about when we're done. We'll hang on and chat, and
we're giving you our after show live. That's okay. We're all friends here, right? There's not that. What are we out on like the internet live now? Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. You can see how exciting our lives really are. We'll just sit around and chat about the weather. That's how rock and roll we are.
We'll just sit and complain to each other, right?
Yeah.
All right, now it's time to go. Mwah. Love you so much. Love you guys. Love you.
Bye.
Everybody have a good day. Talk to you later.